Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhan Vitangscha. So continuing with Mahabharata, Yaksha Yudha Parva, and before we begin today's reading, we're going to read a chapter that was not in this edition from last week.
And
So,
Mark is going to adjust his camera so we can actually see him speaking properly.
yeah.
Okay.
And Mark is going to read that from the translation of Kishori Mohan Ganguli.
Yes.
Could you just adjust the camera a little bit down so we can see? No, the other way. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to stay there. Hold on a minute. All right.
Stabilize your camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Haribol.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vaishampayana said, once upon a time, Yudhisthira, while living at that place, addressed Krishna, his brother, and the Brahmanas, saying, by us have been attentively seen, one after another, sacred and auspicious tirthas, and woods delightful to behold, which had ere this been visited by the celestials and the high-souled sages, and which had been worshipped by the Brahmanas. And in various sacred asylums we have performed ablutions with Brahmanas, and have heard from them the lives and acts of many sages, and also of many royal sages of yore, and other pleasant stories. And with flowers and water have the gods been worshipped by us, and with offerings of fruits and roots as available at each place, we have gratified the Pitris. And with the high-souled ones, we have performed ablutions in all sacred and beautiful mountains and lakes, and also in the highly sacred ocean. And with the Brahmanas, we have bathed in the Ila, and in the Sarasvati, and in the Sindhu, and in the Yamuna, and in the Narmada, and in various other romantic tirthas. And having passed the source of the Ganga, we have seen many a lovely hill and the Himalaya mountains, inhabited by various species of birds. Also the Jujube, named Vishala, or that's the Badri Vishal, Jai Badri Vishal, where there is the hermitage of Nara and Narayan. And finally, we have beheld this unearthly lake held in veneration by the Siddhas, the gods and the sages. I think this must be Manasarovar, because it's near Kailash, I think. In fact, O foremost of Brahmanas, we have one by one carefully seen all celebrated and sacred spots in company with the high-souled Lomasa. Sorry about that. Now, O Bhima, how shall we repair to the sacred abode of Vaishravana, inhabited by the Siddhas? Do thou think of the means of entering? Vaishampayana said, when that king had said this, an aerial voice spake, saying, thou wilt not be able to go to that inaccessible spot. By this very way do thou repair from this region of Kubera to the place whence thou hadst come, even to the hermitage of Nara and Narayan, known by the name of Vadari. Thence, O Kunteya, thou wilt repair to the hermitage of Vrishaparva, abounding in flowers and fruit, and inhabited by the Siddhas and the Charanas. Having passed that, O Partha, thou wilt proceed to the hermitage of Arishtisena, and from thence thou wilt behold the abode of Kubera. Just at that moment the breeze became fresh and gladsome, and cool and redolent of unearthly fragrance, and it showered blossoms. And on hearing the celestial voice from the sky, they were all amazed, more especially those earthly rishis and the Brahmanas. On hearing this mighty marvel, the Brahmana Domya said, this should not be gainsaid. O Bharata, let this be so. Thereupon, King Yudhisthira obeyed him, and having returned to the hermitage of Nara and Narayan, he began to dwell pleasantly, surrounded by Bhima, and his other brothers, Panchali and the Brahmanas. And that's the end of that chapter. Hare Krishna. So then next.
We've got to a bit further on there now. So they've met Kuvera, and they've been having discussions with him. But anyone wants to catch up on that can go to the previous video. So
okay, so we're on page 236.
227.
Oh, 227, sorry.
And chapter 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I've got it. Okay. Well, the fireworks are really going off here. I might have to close the window.
We can't hear them. We can't hear them.
Quite fun.
Yes.
Remember. Sorry.
Yes. Vaishravana. So that is a common name for Kuvera, the son of the sage Vishravas. So Vaishravana said, O Yudhisthira, perseverance, steadfastness, place, time, and valor, these are the 5 principles that determine results in this world. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, in Krita Yuga, men preserved and were skilled in their respective tasks and were well versed in the principles of valor. O best of Kshatriyas, a Kshatriya who has perseverance knows the place and time and the principle of all dharma rules the earth. O Partha, O brave one, a man who acts in this fashion in all his deeds obtains fame in this world and a good end after death. Shakra, the destroyer of Vritra, together with the Vasus, exhibited his valor at the right place and time and obtained the kingdom of heaven. The one who is evil in his soul and evil in his intelligence pursues evil alone. Not knowing the results of his actions, he is destroyed now and after death. The stupid one who does not know the time and the difference between different types of deeds is destroyed now and after death, and his efforts are in vain. Violent, deceitful, and evil-minded ones decide to commit sin, covetous of obtaining everything. O bull among the Bharata lineage, this Bhimasena is fearless. He does not know dharma. He is prone to violence. He is childish in intelligence. He is intolerant. Therefore, instruct him. When you have returned to Rajarshi Arshtishena's hermitage, for the first lunar fortnight, dwell there without any fear. O Indra among men, O mighty armed one, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Rakshasas, the inhabitants of Alaka, and all the denizens of the mountain will protect you, and the supreme among Brahmanas on my orders. O King, O supreme among those who uphold Dharma, this Vrikodara has been committing violent acts on this mountain. Restrain him, O Indra among kings. From now on, all the inhabitants of the forest will look after you, serve you, and always protect you. O bull among men, my attendants will serve you with a lot of tasty food and drink. O son, O Yudhisthira, just as Jishnu is under Mahendra's protection, Vrikodara under Vayu's, you under Dharma's, since you are his own son, and obtained through yoga, and the twins under the Ashwins, each son being respectively protected. From now on, you will be under my protection too. Falguna, knowledgeable in all aspects of Artha and well versed in all aspects of Dharma, immediately young to Bhimasena, has become skilled in heaven. O son, right from his birth, every superior trait perceived to lead to the attainment of the supreme of worlds has been vested in Dhananjaya. Self-control, generosity, strength, intelligence, humility, perseverance, and supreme energy, all these are present in the great spirited one whose energy is infinite. O Pandava, Jishnu never commits a reprehensible act, nor do men recount any falsehoods having been uttered by Partha. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, that extender of deeds of the Kuru lineage has been learning the art of weapons in Shakra's abode, honored by the gods, the ancestors, and the Gandharvas. O Partha, the immensely energetic Shantanu, your father's grandfather, who brought all the lords of the earth under his suzerainty through Dharma, is pleased in heaven with Partha Gandiva Dhanva. That immensely valorous and greatly famous king, the upholder of his lineage, always honored the ancestors, the gods, the rishis, and the brahmanas, and performed 7 major sacrifices on the banks of the Jamuna. O king, that lord of kings, your great grandfather Shantanu, has attained heaven and now resides in Shakra's world. He has asked about your welfare. Vaishampayana said, Vrekodara, bull among the Bharata lineage, then laid down his spear, his club, his sword, and his bow. He bowed down in obeisance before Kubera, the lord of riches, refuge of those who seek sanctuary, then told the one who had sought shelter, May you be the one who destroys the pride of your enemies and increases the joy of your well-wishers. O scorcher of enemies, O bulls among the Bharata lineage, dwell in these beautiful residences. The Yakshas will procure for you everything that you desire. Having obtained the weapons and having obtained leave from Bhagavan himself, Gudakesha, Dhananjaya, bull among men, will return soon. Having thus instructed Yudhishthira, whose deeds were virtuous, the lord of the Guyakas returned to his home in the supreme of mountains. Thousands of Rakshasas and Yakshas followed him in their vehicles, covered with decorated cushions and adorned with many different kinds of gems. Those supreme horses neighed as they proceeded like birds toward Kubera's abode, following Airavata's path. Footnote: Airavata, the Indra's elephant. You know that anyway. The steed, I thought he might say what Airavata's path is. Anyway, the steeds of the Lord of Riches travelled as if they were splitting the sky, trailing clouds and feeding on the wind. On the instructions of the Lord of Riches, the dead bodies of the Rakshasas were removed from the summit of the mountain. The wise Agastya had determined this at the time for the curse, and therefore they, together with Maniman, had been slain in battle. The great-souled Pandavas happily spent the nights in those residences. They were free from anxiety and were honoured by all the Rakshasas. 457. Vaishampayana said, O destroyer of enemies, when the sun rose, having performed the rituals, Daumya came to the Pandavas with Arshtisena. Having bowed down at the feet of Arshti, Shena and Dhaumya, they worshipped all the Brahmanas, hands joined in salutation. Then Dhaumya grasped Yudhishthira by the right hand. Looking towards the eastern direction, the Maharshi said, "O great king, Mandara, the king of mountains, grandly covers the earth, right up to the frontiers of the ocean. O Pandava, this direction, adorned with mountains, forests, and groves, is protected by Indra and Vaishravana. O son, learned rishis, knowledgeable in Dharma, have said that this is the abode of Mahendra and King Vaishravana. Beings worship the sun because it rises from there, as do rishis learned in Dharma, siddhas, sadhyas, and gods. King Yama, with Dharma in his soul and the Lord of all living beings, presides over the southern direction, the path followed by those who have died. This is sacred Samyamana, extraordinary to behold, full of great prosperity. This is the abode of the king of the dead. O king, the learned ones call this king of the mountains Asta. On attaining it, sun is established in truth. Dwelling on this king of mountains and in the great ocean, King Varuna protects all beings. O immensely fortunate one, the great and famous Mount Meru is established in radiance in the northern direction and is the auspicious refuge of those who know the Brahman. Brahma's sacrificial right is there, and Prajapati, the soul of all beings, and the creator of everything that is mobile and immobile, resides there. The great and auspicious Meru, free from disease, is also the abode of Brahma's mental sons. Sorry. The seventh being Daksha, should be mind-born, because they were not mental. O son, every day the seven Devarshis, Vashishta being the foremost, rise and set there. Behold that auspicious region and the auspicious peak of Meru, where the grandfather dwells with all the gods, content in their souls. Beyond Brahma's abode, the supreme region of the Supreme Lord Narayana is resplendent. He is without beginning and without end. He is said to be the first cause of all beings. He is the true origin of all nature. Even the gods cannot see that divine and auspicious region full of energy without great endeavor. O king, because of its own brighter than the sun and the fire, the region of the great-souled Vishnu is difficult for the gods and Danavas to see. When they reach there, all the stars no longer shine. The Lord, whose soul is never subdued, outshines them through his own brilliance. Through their devotion, combined with supreme austerities and perfected with pious deeds, accomplished in yoga and devoid of darkness and delusion, great-souled ascetics go there. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, having gone there, they never return to this world. O immensely fortunate Yudhishthira, this region is eternal. It has no deterioration and no decay. This is the Lord's region. Bow down before it. The illustrious Aditya, the dispeller of all darkness, attracts all the stars and circumambulates it. On having reached Asta and passing through, even the sun traverses a northern course. O Pandava, always devoted to the welfare of all beings, the sun circles Meru and reappears in the east. In a similar way, the illustrious moon divides the months into many Parshva Sundays and travels with the stars. Thus, continuously circling the great Meru, the nourisher of all beings, returns to Mandara. In a similar way, the sun, the one who dispels darkness with his rays, follows the same unobstructed route and nourishes the world. When he desires to create the winter season, he takes a southern course, and winter descends on all beings. Then, returning, he uses his own energy to sap up the energy of all beings, mobile and immobile, because of perspiration, tiredness, lassitude, exhaustion. All men are affected, and so are other beings. They are always inclined towards sleep. Thus, the sun traverses the path that cannot be determined. The illustrious one creates rains, reviving all beings. O Partha, having prospered all beings, mobile and immobile, with pleasant rains, winds, and warmth, the immensely energetic one resumes his course. O Partha, thus the sun continuously traverses his course, following the wheel of time and attracting all beings. O Pandava, his course is eternal. He never stands still. Taking energy from beings, he returns it again. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, he measures out the deeds of all beings. The eternal Lord creates night and day, Kala and Kashta. You're muted, old chap.
Do you want to carry on, or shall I take over now? Is it
Please take over.
okay? It's fantastic. It's really kind of that's so cinematic and epic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it, it's like you did it well. It's beautiful. I was so off into it. It's majestic. Okay, here we go. Carrying on, the Yaksha Yudha Parava, 458161, page 233 of the Bibek Debroy edition. Vaishampayana said, they lived on that king of mountains, those great souled ones, established themselves in good vows. They found pleasure and amused themselves, waiting to see Arjuna. Those valorous ones were extremely pure in their souls, energetic and devoted to truth and fortitude. Masses of Gandharvas and Maharshis were kindly disposed towards them and came to visit them. Having reached that supreme mountain adorned with blossoming trees, the Maharatas were extremely happy in their hearts, like the Maruts are on attaining heaven. They beheld the peaks and the ridges of that great mountain, resounding with the calls of peacocks and swans and strewn with many flowers, and felt great joy. Kubera himself tended to them. They saw on that supreme mountain streams with wooded banks and ponds full of lotuses, kadambas, karandavas, and swans. There were beautiful pleasure grounds, coloured and prosperous, adorned along the sides with garlands and studded with gems that pleased the mind, like those that are in the possession of the king of riches. The peak of that mountain had many colours and was fragrant. It had large trees and was covered with masses of clouds. Though they were always devoted to austerities, when they roamed around, they could not fathom it, O warrior among men. Because of the energy of that great mountain and the luminescence of its great herbs, no difference could be seen between night and day. While dwelling there, Krishna Kaliya is it manifesting over there? That's interesting. Okay, sorry. O warrior among men, because of the energy of that great mountain and the luminescence of its herbs, no difference could be seen between night and day. While dwelling there, those brave lions among men saw the rising and the setting of the sun, the infinitely energetic sun who lived there and nourished all beings, mobile and immobile. The brave ones saw how darkness was dispelled when the sun rose and how it returned and how it returned when it had set. They saw how all the directions were enveloped in the nets spread by the rays of the sun. They waited for the arrival of the Mahabharata who was truthful in his vows. They love Arjuna so much, don't they? It's all beautiful. They they waited for the arrival of the Mahabharata who was truthful in his vows. They studied and always performed the rituals. They followed Dharma and were pure in their vows. They were always established in truth. We will soon find joy in this spot when Dhananjaya returns, having obtained the weapons. This is what the Paratas pronounced as a supreme benediction, and they devoted themselves to austerities and yoga. They saw many beautiful mountains and forests, but constantly thought about Kiriti. Kiriti. Every day and every night seemed like an entire year to them. From the moment when the great soul Jinshu had obtained Domya's permission and had left with matted hair, from that instant, happiness had deserted them. How could they find pleasure when their hearts were with him? Who? Hmm. Hmm. They had been stricken with grief ever since Jinshu, whose gait was like that of an elephant, had followed the instructions of his brother Yudhisthira and had left Kamyaka forest. They thought of the one whose steeds were white. They had gone to Vasava in search of weapons. He had gone to Vasava in search of weapons. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, in this way the Bharatas, never thought of that. Could be that could be the soap opera, the Bharatas. It's great, isn't it? In this way, the Bharatas spent a month in the mountain, immersed in melancholia. Oh God, you can be in the best place, but if your loved ones aren't there, it can just be a bum trip, man. Anyway, then one day, when the Maharajas were thinking of Arjuna, they rejoiced when they suddenly saw Mahendra's chariot approach like a flash of lightning and yoked to tawny horses. It suddenly blazed in the firmament like a giant meteor, hidden in the clouds, or like the flaming crest of a fire that has no smoke. It was driven by Matali, Indria's charioteer. Kiriti could be seen in it. Oh, wait, okay. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. It was driven by Matali. Kiriti could be seen in it, garlanded and adorned in the best of ornaments. Dhananjaya was the equal of the wielder of the Vajra in his power and arrived at the mountain, dazzling in his beauty. When the one with the diadem on his head arrived at the mountain, he descended from Mahendra's chariot and first paid his respect at Dolmya's feet, followed by Ajatashatru's next. He then bowed down at Vikrodra's feet and was himself worshipped by Madra's sons. Wow, what a scene! Wow, that's Arjuna coming on his chariot, man. And everything. He then bowed down at Vikrodra's feet and was himself worshipped by Madri's sons. Then he went to Krishna, Draupadi, and comforted her. With humility, he stood below his brother. Those who were there were extremely delighted at being reunited with the one who cannot be measured. The one who had the diadem on his head was also delighted on seeing them and praised the king. With happiness in their hearts, the parties approached and circled Indra's chariot. On this The slayer of Namuchi had destroyed 7 groups of Diti's sons. The princes of the Kuru lineage were extremely happy. They showed honor to Matali equal to what the king of the gods would have warranted. As was appropriate, they asked him about the welfare of the gods. That's so cool. In turn, Matali greeted them and instructed them like a father does his sons. In that chariot that was unmatched in its splendor, he then returned to the Lord of the Gods. What a scene! Wow. When the chariot of the supreme God had departed, Chakra's great-souled son, the destroyer of all enemies, presented all the expensive and beautiful gifts that Chakra had given. The ornaments that he lovingly gave to his beloved Sutashoma's mother glittered like the sun's rays. Wait a minute, who's that? Oh, Draupadi, sorry. Okay, let me just say that again. So, I don't think I'm going to bother. We all have to just read it ourselves anyway. Glittered like the sun's rays. Then he seated himself in the midst of the bulls, the Korean lineage, resplendent like the sun and the fire. He sat in the midst of the Brahmana rishis and recounted everything that had happened. I have learned these weapons from Shakra, the wind god, and Shiva themselves. Together with the gods, Indra was pleased at my conduct and my concentration. Having briefly told them about his entry into heaven, Kiriti, the performer of pure deeds, happily went to sleep, spending the night with Madri's sons. Oh, okay. 459. That's interesting. Anyway, okay. Vaishampayana said, at that time, there was a tremendous sound in the sky, created by all the musical instruments of the gods, O descendant of the Bharata lineage. There was the sound of chariot wheels and the tolling of bells. The cries of beasts of prey, animals, and all kinds of birds resounded everywhere. The king of the gods, the destroyer of enemies, arrived, accompanied by Gandharvas and Apsaras on all sides, all riding vimanas that were like the sun. Purandara, the king of the gods, blazing in his supreme radiance, went up to the Partas in his chariot that roared like the clouds, was adorned with gold, and was drawn by tawny horses. Having arrived, the god with the 1,000 eyes descended. Soon as he saw the great-souled one, Dharmaraj Yudhisthira, together with his brothers, approached that handsome king of the gods. The one who was generous in his gifts worshipped the one whose soul was infinite. In accordance with the appropriate honors and the decreed rituals, the energetic Dhananjaya bowed in obeisance before Purandara and before the king of the gods, remained prone like a servant. The immensely energetic Yudhisthira, Kunti's son, saw Dhananjaya, his head bowed in humility. The king of the gods was extremely delighted on seeing Falguna and inhaled the fragrance of his matted head, cleansed through austerities. The king rejoiced in his heart and was overcome with delight. Purandara, the wise king of the gods, spoke to him. O king, O Pandava, you will rule the earth. O Kundaya, be fortunate. Return again to the hermitage of Kamyaka. O king, having performed deeds that brought me pleasure, Pandava Dhananjaya has obtained all the weapons from me. No one in the world is capable of vanquishing him now. Having spoken these words to Kunti's son, Yudhisthira, and having been worshipped by the Maharishis, the one with the 1,000 eyes happily returned to heaven. The learned and controlled one who observes brahmacharya for a year, restrained and rigid in his vows, and studies this account of the meeting between the Pandavas and Chakra in the abode of the Lords of the Riches, will never face obstruction and will live happily for 100 autumns. Can I?
Yeah, man.
I don't mind if you carry on now. It's
Cool.
it's a bit emotional for me. I was like, ooh, it's so tender. And I mean, wow, you just never know what, I just never know what I'm going to read. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, or hear. Okay, so carry on. Yeah, please, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
460.
What's happened? I pressed something.
It's all right.
Okay.
Vaishampayana said, when Shakra had departed the way he had come, together with his brothers and Krishna, Vibhatsu showed homage to Dharma's son. Having inhaled the fragrance of the head of Pandava Arjuna, who had bowed down before him, he happily told him in a voice that was broken from delight. O Arjuna, how did you spend this time in heaven? How did you satisfy the king of the gods, and how did you obtain the weapons? O descendant of the Bharata lineage, have you obtained all the weapons completely? Have the king of the gods and Rudra given you the weapons happily? How did you see Shakra and the illustrious wielder of the Pinaka? How did you obtain the weapons, and how did you worship them? O destroyer of enemies, why did the illustrious Shatakratu say that you had done that which brought him pleasure? What did you do to please him? O immensely radiant one, I wish to hear all this in detail, how you satisfied Mahadeva and the king of the gods. O unblemished one, destroyer of enemies. O Dhananjaya, how did you please the wielder of the Vajra? Tell me everything. That was Yudhishthira asking Arjuna. Arjuna replied, O great king, listen to the way in which I beheld the god Shatakratu and the illustrious Lord Shankara. O king, O destroyer of enemies, having studied, as you had asked me to, I retired to the forest according to your instructions to practice austerities. From Kamyaka, I went to Brikutunga and practiced austerities there. When I had spent a night there, I met a Brahmana on the road. O Konteya, he asked me, where are you going? Tell me. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, I then told him everything. O supreme among kings, O king, on hearing everything from me, the Brahmana offered me homage and was pleased at me. He cheerfully told me, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, practice austerities, you will soon behold the Lord of the gods. Then, following his instructions, I ascended Mount Shaishira and practiced austerities. O great king, for 1 month I lived on roots and fruit. O descendant of the Pandava lineage, for the 2nd month I lived on water alone, and in the 3rd I abstained from food. In the 4th month I stood with my arms upraised. It is extraordinary that I did not lose my strength. When the 4th had passed and the 1st day arrived, a being in the form of a boar appeared before me. 1st day of the 5th month. The 1st day arrived, that's in reference to the 1st day of the 5th month. A being in the form of a boar appeared before me. It dug the ground up with its tusk. There must be tusks. It scratched it with its hooves. It rubbed it with its belly and continuously rolled over. It was followed by another great being in the form of a kirata. Footnote: Kiratas are hunters, typically inhabiting mountainous regions. He carried a bow, arrows, and a sword, and was accompanied by masses of women. Taking up my bow and the quivers, I pierced that being, the boar, which made one's hair stand up, with an arrow. At the same time, the Kirata drew his powerful bow and pierced it even more firmly, as if making my mind tremble. O king, he told me, why have you disregarded the rules of hunting and shot it? 'Twas struck by me first. Stand still. I will destroy your insolence with my sharp arrows. Then that gigantic being rushed at me. Okay, so he's missing a speech mark, I believe. While I stood like a mountain, he covered me with his great arrows. I also covered him with a mighty shower of arrows. I pierced him like a mountain pierced by the Vajra, with arrows that flamed at the tips and had feathered shafts, with mantras chanted over them. At that, he multiplied his body 100 times and 1,000 times. I pierced each of these bodies with my arrows, O descendant of the Palata lineage. At that, all the bodies became one again. O great king, on seeing this, I pierced it again. He now assumed a very small body with a large head, and then a very large body with a small head. O king, then assuming a single body, he rushed at me to do battle. O bull among the Palata lineage, when I could not vanquish him in combat with arrows, I resorted to my Vayavya weapon. But it was extraordinary that I could not hurt him with this. When that weapon was repulsed, I was struck with great wonder. O great king! Therefore, I resorted to greater endeavors. In that great battle, I enveloped him with many mighty weapons. I unleashed a shower of arrows at him. Stunakarna, Ayojala, Shavarsha, Sharolbana, Shailashtra, and Ashmavarsha. But no, depending on the tips and the shafts, these arrows have different names. Okay, these are different sorts of arrows. O unblemished one! But he smilingly gobbled up all the weapons unleashed by me. When he had pacified all of them, I grasped my Brahmastra. He was then completely covered with flaming arrows. Thus, covered by my great weapon, his body began to expand. Because of the energy unleashed by me, the world began to burn. In an instant, the directions in the sky began to blaze. But that immensely energetic one pacified that weapon in a moment. O king, when the Brahmastra weapon was conquered, I was overcome by great fear. I grasped my bow and inexhaustible quivers and struck him with these. But he devoured those weapons too. With all the weapons repulsed and with all the weapons devoured, that being and I engaged in a wrestling bout. We dealt blows at each other with our fists and with the flats of our hands. But that being vanquished me, and I fell down immobile on the ground. Then that being laughed and disappeared at that spot and time with all the women. O great king, on seeing this, I thought that it was extraordinary. O great king, having done this, the illustrious one discarded the form of a Kirata and appeared in another divine form, dressed in a wonderful garment. The illustrious god himself, with the bull on his banner, yellow-eyed and capable of assuming many forms. The wielder of the Pinaka could be seen in his own form, accompanied by Uma. O scorcher of enemies! After the battle, I stood there, and the wielder of the trident told me, I am pleased with you. Grasping the bow and the inexhaustible quivers that never run out of arrows, the illustrious one returned them to me and said, Ask for a boon, O Kaunteya. I am satisfied with you. Tell me what I can do for you, O brave one. What is the desire of your heart? Tell me, and I will grant whatever is in your heart, as long as it is not immortality. Then I joined my hands in salutation, with my mind set on obtaining weapons. I bowed to Sharva and spoke these words. If the illustrious one is pleased with me, I ask for this boon. I wish to know about all the weapons that the gods possess. The illustrious Triambaka told me, I will give, O Pandava. My own weapon, Rodra, will always be present before you. Satisfied, the Lord granted me that Pashupata weapon. Having given me that eternal weapon, Mahadeva told me, this should never be used against humans, O Dhananjaya. This powerful weapon should only be used if you are hard-pressed. It can be used to counter all other weapons. Because of Rishadvaja's favors, that divine weapon, capable of countering all other weapons, the destroyer of all enemies and capable of annihilating the armies of enemies, unassailable and impossible for gods, Danavas and Rakshasas to endure, stood personified by my side. After obtaining his permission, Shiva's permission, I sat down there. In my very sight, the god disappeared. 461. Arjuna said, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, through the favors of the great-souled Triambaka, the god of the gods, I happily spent the night there. When the night had passed and I had completed the morning rituals, I saw the best of Brahmanas whom I had met earlier. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, I told him everything that had happened and my meeting with the illustrious Mahadeva. O Indra among kings, that supreme of Brahmanas then happily told me, you have seen Mahadeva in a way that no one else has. O unblemished one, you will see Vaivasvata and all the other lords of the gods. Vaivasvata. Vaivasvata is sovereign. Sorry, I'll just read the footnote. Each Manvantara is presided over by a sovereign known as Manu. It is because humans are descended from Manu that they are known as Manava. There are 14 Manvantaras and 14 Manus to preside over them. The present Manvantara is the 7th, and the Manu who presides over this is known as Vaivasvata, because he was born from the sun Vivasvat. End of the footnote. You will see Indra of the gods, and he will give you weapons. O king, Arjuna speaking, having said this, he embraced me again and again. Then that Brahmana, who was like the sun, went where he desired. O destroyer of your enemies, in the afternoon of that day, a pure breeze began to blow, and it seemed to make the world new again. Near me, at the foot of Shaishira mountain, divine, fragrant, and fresh flowers appeared. The sound of delightful and divine musical instruments was heard on all sides, together with chants in praise of Indra. Masses of Apsaras and Gandharvas began to sing various songs in front of the god of the gods. Masses of Maruts arrived in celestial vehicles, together with Mahendra's followers and those who live in his abode. Marutvan, accompanied by Shachi, arrived in ornamented chariots yoked to tawny horses, together with all the other immortals. O king, at that instant, Naravahana Kubera, supreme in prosperity, appeared before me. I saw Yama established in the southern direction, and Varuna, and the king of the gods, each established in one's respective place. O great king, that bull among the gods then spoke to me in comforting words. O Savyasachi, look at all of us Lokapalas established here. You have seen Shankara to accomplish a task for the gods. You will receive weapons from all of us who are around here. O Lord, I then purified and prostrated myself before those best of the gods. In accordance with the prescribed rites, I received those powerful weapons. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, O destroyer of enemies, having obtained the weapons, I obtained leave of the gods. Then all the gods returned the way they had come. Maghavan, lord of the gods, ascended his splendid chariot. The illustrious one, the destroyer of the enemies of the gods, smiled and spoke these words. O Dhananjaya, I had known I had known you even before you arrived here. O bull among the Bharata lineage, later I will reveal myself to you. I'll read the footnote there. Indra was the Brahmana, and Indra would show himself to Arjuna in heaven. That's what he means. O Pandava, you have earlier bathed in the tirthas. You have earlier tormented yourself with great austerities. You will therefore go to heaven. You will have to practice supremely terrible austerities again. Then the illustrious one recounted all the austerities that would have to be performed. On my instructions, Matali will take you to the world of the 30 gods. You are already well known to the gods and the great-souled sages. At this, I told Shakra, O illustrious one, please show your favors to me. O Lord of the 30 gods, I seek you as my preceptor, so that I may learn about weapons from you. Indra replied, O son, O scorcher of enemies, you will perform terrible deeds. The reason for which you wish to acquire weapons will be satisfied. Then I said, O slayer of enemies, I will never use those celestial weapons against humans, except to ward off their weapons. O Lord of the gods, therefore give me those divine weapons. O bull among the gods, I will later obtain the worlds that weapons can attain. Indra replied, O Dhananjaya, I uttered those words in order to test you. Your words are worthy of someone who is my son. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, O extender of the Kuru lineage, go to my abode and learn all the weapons there, those of Vayu, Agni, Varuna, the masses of Maruts, of the Sadhyas, the grandfather, the Gandharvas, the serpents, and the Rakshasas, those of Vishnu, the Nairitas, and my own. Having spoken those words to me, Shakra disappeared. O king, I then saw Indra's chariot arrive. It was yoked to tawny horses. It was divine, magical, and sacred, and was driven by Matali. The Lokapalas left. Matali told me, O immensely radiant one, Shakra, the king of the gods, wishes to see you. O mighty armed one, first attain perfection, then perform supreme deeds. Behold the regions earned by those with pure deeds. Go to heaven in your physical body. At Matali's words, I took my leave of Shashira mountain. Circumambulating, I ascended that supreme chariot. Matali, expansive in generosity and an expert about horses, drove those steeds in the proper fashion, with the speed of the mind and the wind. O king, on seeing me seated steadily, though the chariot was swinging, the charioteer was surprised and wonderingly said, Today, this seems to me to be wonderful and extraordinary. You are seated in this divine chariot, but have not moved even a foot. O bull among the Bharata lineage, when the horses make their first movements, I have noticed that even the king of the gods loses his balance. O extender of the Kuru lineage, but you are seated in this fashion, though the chariot is swinging. It seems to me that your powers have surpassed those of Shakra. O king, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, having said this, Matali soared up into the sky and lovingly showed me Nandana and many other groves of the gods. I saw Shakra's abode of Amaravati. It was adorned with divine trees that yielded every object of desire and jewels. The sun did not light it up. No chill or heat was felt there. O king, there was no fatigue. No dust, mud, darkness, or old age. No sorrow, misery, or pallor could be noticed there. O great King, O oppressor of enemies, there was no weariness among the inhabitants of heaven. O Lord of the earth, there was no anger or greed, nor anything inauspicious. Beings in the abodes of the gods are always satisfied and happy. There are always flowers and fruit in the trees that are green with foliage. There are many ponds full of lotuses and Sogandika flowers. The breeze is cool, fragrant, refreshing, and pure there. There are many jewels everywhere, and the ground is strewn with flowers. There are many beautiful animals and birds with sweet voices. Many immortals can be seen riding their vimanas. I saw the Vasus, the Rudras, the Sadyas, the masses of Maruts, the Adityas, and the Ashvins, and offered homage to all of them. They gave me their blessings for valor, fame, energy, strength, the learning of weapons, and victory in battle. I then entered that beautiful city, worshipped by gods and Gandharvas, hands joined in salutation. I stood before the king of the gods, the one with 1,000 eyes. Shakra, supreme among generous ones, was delighted and offered me half of his throne, O one who is generous with gifts. Then Vasava honored me and touched my body. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, for the sake of weapons and learning, I began to dwell in heaven, together with the gods and the Gandharvas. O king, Vishvavasu's son, Chitrasen, became my friend, and he taught me everything that the Gandharvas knew. O king, having obtained the weapons and having been honored, I lived there happily in Shakra's abode, getting everything that I wished for. I heard the sounds of songs and the splendid sounds of many musical instruments. O scorcher of enemies, I witnessed the dancing of the best of the Apsaras. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, without ignoring those which I learnt properly, I specially devoted my attention to learning about weapons. At that, the 1,000-eyed Lord satisfied with my wishes. O king, in this way, the period of my residence in heaven passed. 462. Arjuna said, when I was skilled in weapons and had obtained his confidence, Harivahana touched my head with his hands and spoke these words. Harivahana is Indra's epithet. Literally, this means someone whose horses are tawny. Tawny is a color, I believe, like dark brown or something. Anyway, in the footnote, Harivahana said, today, the masses of gods are incapable of vanquishing you in battle. Not to speak of humans of the world who have not perfected their souls. You are immeasurable and unassailable. You are also incomparable in battle. Then, with his body hair standing up, the god again said, O brave one, there will be no one who will be your match in fighting with weapons. You are never distracted. You are skilled. You are truthful and in control of your senses. You are like a Brahmana. You are skilled in the usage of weapons. O extender of the Kuru lineage, you have obtained 10 weapons and 5. O Partha, know that you have no equal in all the 5 ways. O Dhananjaya, you know how to employ, restrain, return, pacify, and counteract them. You know everything about atonement and repulsion. O scorcher of enemies, the time has now come for you to pay your preceptor's fees. Promise to pay it, and then I will tell you what you have to do. O king, at that I spoke these words to the king of the gods. If it is in my power to do it, then consider it done. O king, Bala and Vritra's slayer smiled and told me, there is nothing in the three worlds that is impossible for you. The Danavas named Nivatakavachas are my enemies. They live in an inaccessible spot along the shores of the ocean. They are 30 million in number, and they are identical in form, strength, and radiance. O Contea, destroy them there. That will be the preceptor's fee. He gave me the immensely radiant and divine chariot driven by Matali. It was yoked to horses that had hair as beautiful as the feathers of peacocks. He tied an excellent diadem on my head. He gave me ornaments for the body similar to those he himself wore, and this supreme, beautiful, and impenetrable armor, pleasant to the touch. I strung Gandiva with this string that does not decay. I then set out on that resplendent chariot, on which, in earlier times, the Lord of the Gods vanquished Bali, Virochana's son. All the gods were alerted by the roar. O Lord of the earth, thinking me to be the king of the gods, they assembled, and having seen me, asked, "Oh, Falguna, what will you do?" I then told them exactly what had occurred and said, "I will do this in battle. I am departing to kill the Nivatakavachas. O immensely fortunate ones, O unblemished ones, O pure ones, give me your blessings." They were satisfied. They were as satisfied and pleased with me as the god Purandara. Ascended on this chariot, Magavan vanquished. He's continuing his past speech with the gods. Ascended on this chariot, Magavan vanquished in battle Shambhala, Namuchi, Bala, Vritra, Prahlad, and Naraka. On this chariot, Magavan vanquished in battle many thousands, Prayutas and Arbutas of Daityas. O Kaunteya. The speech marks are sometimes all over the place. I don't know who's talking. You will also vanquish the Nivatakavachas in battle and show your prowess, just as the self-controlled Magavan did earlier. He is the supreme conch shell. Maybe it's the gods who are speaking. Yeah, I believe it is. On this chariot, Magavan vanquished in battle many thousands, Prayutas and Arbudas of Daityas. Oh, Kaunteya, you will also vanquish the Nivatakavachas in battle and show your prowess, just as the self-controlled Magavan did earlier. Here is the supreme conch shell with which you will conquer the Danavas. Using this, the great-souled Chakra conquered the worlds. That was the gods speaking to Arjuna. The gods gave me Devadatta, the name of the conch shell, obtained from the waters, and I accepted it. Then, for the sake of victory, the immortals praised me. Desiring to fight, I left for the terrible abode of the Danavas, with the conch shell, armor, and arrows, having grasped the bow firmly. Yeah.
Sorry, what happened there?
Nothing.
Okay, that was absolutely mind-boggling. That must have been incredible to read that. I was just listening to it.
Oh, my video. You stopped my video, did you?
I'm just trying to think what I just did this. I just, so annoying pressing the wrong thing by mistake. Now I've got to get the whole view. I had a different view up and then I pressed the wrong thing. I thought I was doing me. Pardon me, everybody, while I faff around. Um, I'm trying to get the view right so I can see you. I can't even see you now. gallery. Why can't I see everything? I don't understand why it does this. Where? Fuck. Excuse my language.
How far should I read? Because it goes on now. Arjuna's going to describe his battle.
Just carry on. Actually, so that's me. Where's your video? Where
You've
are
you, you've disabled my ability to
I
put it
know,
on.
but I can't. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to find you, and I can't get anybody's video up to do it. W- Ram, Valorant, can you get off mute and then you can maybe tell me what to do?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one you pressed though to stop whoever's video. I'm not so
It was
familiar with.
Kanai's, but it's the thing is now on
Yeah.
my where. Oh God, I just pressed something. Now I know I've lost all of it.
Oh no.
Sorry,
Oh dear.
well, I've got it back. Okay. So, but all I can see is you and me. I can't see anybody
Really?
else.
Might sort of let him keep reading and just trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, just keep reading. Go on. We'll just keep reading because it's amazing. Okay. Even
Yeah.
if we can't see, but I want to see you, but why can't I see you? That's the question.
well, maybe you can sort of mute yourself and try and get it back on while listening.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, 463. So Arjuna is eager to battle now, the Dandavas. Arjuna said, "Wherever I went, I was praised by the Maharshis. Then I beheld the terrible ocean, the eternal lord of the waters. Towering waves could be seen there, full of foam, dashing against each other and scattering like moving mountains. There were thousands of boats, laden with gems in every direction. Timingalas, tortoises, whales, and crocodiles could be seen, immersed in the water like mountains. Thousands of conch shells could be seen in every direction, immersed in the water. They looked like stars in the night, covered by thin clouds. Thousands of gems floated in heaps. A terrible wind whirled over this, and it was extraordinary. I crossed over that supreme and extremely forceful storehouse of waters and drew near to the city of the Daityas. I saw it, infested with Danavas. Matali swiftly descended onto the ground. He drove on to the city, filling it with the roar of the chariot. On hearing the roar of the chariot, there you go.
I've got it.
Thanks. On hearing the roar of the chariot, like the sound of thunder in the sky, the Danavas took me to be the king of the gods and were anxious. Their minds trembled. All of them stood there, holding arrows and bows, spears, swords, battle axes, clubs, and maces in their hands. Their minds trembling with fear, the Danavas closed the gates. They arranged for the protection of the city, and nothing could be seen. I took out the conch shell Devadatta, whose sound is great. Circling around the city of the Asuras, I blew gently on it. That sound echoed everywhere and seemed to stupefy the sky. On hearing this, the immensely mighty beings trembled and hid themselves. Then all the Nivatakavachas, deities' sons, appeared everywhere. They were clad in different kinds of armor and had many different weapons in their hands. There were gigantic iron lances, clubs, maces, spears, and the wheels of chariots in their hands. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, there were shatagnis, catapults, and brilliantly ornamented swords. O bull among the Bharata lineage. Then, thinking about the route the chariot should take, Matali drove the horses along level ground. Because of the swift speed that he made the horses adopt, I could see nothing, and it seemed to me to be extraordinary. Then the many martial Danavas adopted distorted voices and shapes. That great sound made hundreds and thousands of fishes die, suddenly floating up in the sky like mountains. With great force, the Danavas rushed towards me. They discharged hundreds and thousands of sharp arrows. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, for the sake of the death of the Nivata Kavachas, O great Nivata Kavachas, a great and terrible fight occurred between them and me. Devarishis, masses of rishis among the Danavas, Brahmarishis, and Siddhas assembled to witness that great battle. Hoping for victory, the hermits praised me with eloquent and sweet voices, just as they praised Indra at the time of Tarakamaya. Famous battle between the gods and the demons, Tarakamaya. 464. Arjuna said, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, grasping weapons in order to do battle, all the Nivata Kavachas rushed towards me. With angry yells, those Maharatas obstructed the path of my chariot. They surrounded me from all directions and enveloped me with a shower of arrows. Other immensely valorous ones grasped lances and spears in their hands. They used lances and catapults on me. A great shower of lances, clubs, and javelins was continuously hurled and descended on my chariot. Other Nivata Kavachas rushed at me in battle. They were armed with sharp weapons and missiles. They were terrible and skilled in fighting, like death. I sliced them down in battle with many swift and straight arrows released from Gandiv and pierced each of them with 10. These arrows used by me, sharpened on stone, drove all of them back. Those horses were swiftly driven by Matali and as fleet as the wind, performed many maneuvers of the chariot. The skilled Matali trampled many of Diti's sons. Hundreds and hundreds of tawny horses were yoked to that great chariot. But in Matali's hands there seemed to be only a few. Through the hooves, the terrible noise of the chariot and my bows, hundreds of Asuras were slain. Others, grasping their bows, even when they were dead, and with their charioteers killed, were carried away on horses. Those who were skilled in fighting covered all the directions. With all these weapons, my mind was distressed. But Matali's valor seemed supremely extraordinary to me. He guided the swift horses lightly. O king, with light hands I cut down hundreds and thousands of Asuras in that battle, together with their weapons. O slayer of enemies, the brave Matali, Shakra's charioteer, was pleased when I roamed around in these endeavors. Some were crushed by the horses, others by the chariot. Some died, others gave up fighting. In that battle, other Nivata Kavachas challenged me and attacked me from all sides with great showers of arrows. With light arrows that had been invoked with the Brahmastra weapon, I consumed them in hundreds and thousands. Those angry and gigantic Asuras were oppressed by me. They oppressed me with a shower of arrows, spears, and swords. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, I then picked up the beloved weapon of the king of the gods named Madhava. It possessed supreme energy. Through the energy of that weapon, I sliced into 100 pieces the swords, tridents, and javelins that they hurled at me in their thousands. Having angrily sliced their weapons, I pierced each of them with 10 arrows. The great arrows that were unleashed from Gandiv in that battle were like swarms of bees, and Matali praised them. They also covered me with many arrows, as innumerable as locusts. But I powerfully repulsed them with my arrows. Being struck The Nivata Kavachas again surrounded me from all directions with a great shower of arrows, but I repulsed them with thousands of flaming, supreme, and swift arrows that were capable of countering arrows. Like water draining from the peak of a mountain during the rainy season, blood began to flow from their mangled bodies, pierced by the swift and straight traveling arrows with an impact like that of Indra's Vajra. The Danavas became extremely anxious. Their bodies were cut into 100 pieces. Their weapons lost their energy. The Nivata Kavachas then began to fight me with the powers of Maya. 465. I'll go for another. I'll go till 467, okay?
Look at the time, though. How
Yeah,
time
so that's what I'm saying. Well, you decide then, because I
Well, no,
put
it's
this.
up to Matura, really. Hi, Tone. It's up to Matura. Are you there, Matura?
Yeah. So, God,
Well, we've still got Dina, we've got Mark, we've got Roger,
Hey,
we've got
Darren, cool,
Ty.
man.
All right, let me stop. Let me stop. I could do with a
Where's
break.
my video gone? I just turned off my video. Here it is. Start video.
Yeah, we all know where we're at.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, who wants to read after Kanai? Dina, or who's ready? Who wants to do it? Hello, is anybody out there?
I don't have a script with me, so.
Oh, okay.
Tony's willing.
Yeah,
Oh,
let Tarani
okay,
continue
so you read on
from.
a bit and then Tarani takes over then, okay?
Well, why can't she just take over from now?
Okay, then Tarani, please come here.
Won't
You're
take a
being
second, will
called
it?
by Kanai. He's kind of saturated in chivalrous barber and he can't take
Yeah,
it.
I need. Yeah, yeah, I am saturated.
He needs
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
needs
What
a cup
chapter
of
is it?
tea, he needs to hit his
465.
he's got a job to do tomorrow. He's got cellos to make. Sorry, I'm the embarrassing uncle. Okay, so yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, oh my
It's
God,
great, isn't it? It's mind blowing, actually.
it is mind blowing. I mean, first of all, you hear Arjuna when you start hearing it through the eyes of Arjuna and him recounting the story, and it's in the context to his brothers. Can you imagine that? The
Yeah.
thrill of it all.
Well, we're in the middle of the battle now, so I think we should just keep going.
Yeah. So, Tarini, welcome.
You. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhi Radhi. So please take over and
Haribol.
carry on the story of this incredible epic. Be wonderful. Thank you.
465. Arjuna said, Then a mighty shower of rocks appeared in all the directions. Those terrible rocks, as large as mountain, oppressed me grievously. But in that battle, with swift arrows that were like the Vajra and were discharged from Indra's weapon, I shattered them into 100 splinters. When the rocks were shattered, there was a fire, and those splintered rocks fell into it like sparks. When that shower of rocks was dissipated, there was a great shower of water. It poured down on me in flows that were as large as axles of chariots or carts. The shower, descending from the sky in thousands of powerful streams, enveloped the sky in the directions everywhere. Nothing could be seen because of the downpour of water, the roar of the wind and the roar of the Daityas. The water covered everything between heaven and earth. Descending continuously on earth, that torrent confounded me. At that, I discharged the terrible, flaming, and divine weapon named Vishoshana. Vishoshana means something that dries up. Obtained from Indra, and this dried the water up. O one who is deserving of honor, when the shower of rocks was destroyed by me and the shower of water dried up, the Danavas used Maya to unleash wind and fire. I destroyed all the fire with a weapon named Salila. I countered the force of the wind through a great weapon named Shela. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, when that had been countered, the Danavas, indomitable in battle, resorted to many types of Maya and Yoga. There was a great shower that made one's body hair stand up, consisting of terrible weapons, fire, wind, and rocks. That shower, created through Maya, oppressed me in battle. A terrible darkness that manifested itself in every direction. When the world was completely immersed in that terrible and dense darkness, the horses drew back and Matali tumbled forward. The golden whip fell down from his hand onto the ground. O bull among the Bharata lineage, he repeatedly cried out, "Where are you?" When he had lost his senses in this way, a terrible fear overcame me. Trembling and bereft of his senses, he told me, "O Partha, O unblemished one, in earlier times there was a terrible war between the gods and the demons for the sake of Amrit. I witnessed it. There was a terrible and great battle for the slaying of Shambhara. Shambhara, there were several demons named Shambhara. One of them was killed by Indra." Coming back. "There was a terrible and great battle for the slaying of Shambhara, and I was the charioteer of the king of the gods then too. Like that, I drove the steeds at the killing of Vrita. I also witnessed the terrible and great battle for Virochana's son. O Pandava, I have seen those terrible and great battles, but never before have I lost my senses. It must certainly have been determined by the grandfather that all beings will be destroyed. But for the destruction of the universe, I can find no other reason for this battle." On hearing these words of his, and pacifying myself in my own mind, I got ready to confound this great strength of Maya of the Danavas. I told the terrified Matali, "Behold the strength of my arms, the might of my weapons, and those of this bow Gandiva. O charioteer, do not be scared, be steady. With the Maya of my weapons, I will now counter this terrible Maya and repulse this terrible darkness. O Lord of men, having said this, I unleashed the Maya of my weapons for the welfare of the 30 gods, capable of deluding all beings. That Maya having been dispelled, the lords of the Asuras, infinitely energetic, again unleashed many different types of Maya. It was suddenly light. Suddenly everything was immersed in darkness. The world could sometimes not be seen. Sometimes it was immersed in the water. When it was light, in that battle which made one's body's hair stand up, Matali drove the chariot, yoked to horses that were handled well. Then the terrible Nivata Kavachas rushed towards me. Whenever I saw an opening, I sent them to Yama's abode. In that battle, for the destruction of the Nivata Kavachas, suddenly I could not see any of the Danavas. They had covered themselves with Maya. 466. Arjuna said, "Invisible, the Daityas fought me with Maya. With the power of invisible weapons, I continued to fight with them. The shafted arrows from Gandiva, empowered with mantras, sliced off their heads wherever they were. At that, thus killed by me in battle, the Nivatakavachas suddenly withdrew their Maya and retreated into their city again. The Daityas having fled and everything visible again, I saw the dead Danavas there, in hundreds and thousands. There were shattered weapons and ornaments. Heaps of dead bodies and armor could be seen. There was no room for the horse to move their feet. They, the demons, suddenly rose up and took to the sky. Invisible, the Nivatakavachas covered the entire sky and showered down large rocks. O descendant of the Bharata lineage! Other terrible Danavas entered the interiors of the earth and restrained the feet of the horses and the wheels of the chariot. While engaged in the fight, they seized the tawny horses and the chariot and covered me, ascended on the chariot in every direction with rocks. Because of the rocks that covered me, and because of the others that kept falling, the entire region where we were stationed looked like a cave. I was sorely oppressed, being enveloped with rocks. The horses had been restrained. On noticing that I was scared, Matali said, O Arjuna, do not be frightened. Discharge the Vajra weapon. O Lord of men! On hearing these words of his, I unleashed the Vajra weapon, the Vajra that is loved by the King of Gods. I resorted to an immobile spot and invoked Gandiva with the mantra. I discharged sharp iron arrows that had the force of the Vajra. Having been discharged from the Vajra, those arrows became like the Vajra themselves. They penetrated all the Maya of the Nivatakavachas. Struck by the Vajras, those Danavas clung to one another and fell down on the ground like mountains. The arrows hunted out the Danavas who had entered the interiors of the earth and had seized the horses and the chariot, and dispatched them to Yama's abode. That place was with the corpses of mountainous Nivatakavachas, as if strewn with mountains. It was extraordinary that the horses, the chariot, Matali, or I did not suffer any injury. O king, Matali smiled and told me, O Arjuna, the valor exhibited by you is not seen even among gods. With masses of asuras having been slain, their wives began to lament in the city like cranes during the autumn. Accompanied by Matali, I entered the city, terrifying the Nivatakavacha women with the roar of the chariot. On seeing the tens of thousands of horses like peacocks and the chariot that blazed like the sun, masses of women began to flee. The sounds that those terrified women made with their ornaments was like that of hail descending on a mountain. The frightened Daitya women entered their houses, made of gold and decorated with many beautiful gems. On seeing that supreme and wonderful city, superior to the city of the gods, I asked Matali, why do the gods not live in this wonderful place? I think that it surpasses Purandara's city. Matali replied, O Partha, this was earlier the city of the gods, but the gods were expelled from here by the Nivatakavachas. They obtained the grandfather's favors through the great and terrible austerities, and obtained the boon that they should live here, free from all fear of the gods in battle. Then Shakra resorted to the illustrious one who creates himself, and said, O illustrious one, bearing our welfare in mind, you decide what is appropriate in this case. The illustrious one told Vasava what had been destined in this matter. O slayer of Ritra, You yourself will assume another body and kill them. Therefore, Shakra gave you weapons for their destruction. Even the gods could not kill the ones you have now slain. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, you arrived here when the time was right for their end, and you have accomplished the task. O Indra among men, Mahendra conferred on you the supreme power of those supreme weapons for the destruction of the Danavas. Having killed the Danavas and entering their city, I return to the abode of the gods, together with Matali. 467. Arjuna said, while I was returning, I saw another great city. It was divine, as resplendent as the fire and the sun, and it could roam as it wished. It had trees that were covered with jewels, with colorful birds that had sweet voices. It was inhabited by Polomas and Kalakeyas who were always happy. It was impregnable, with turrets, entrances, and 4 gates. It was covered with jewels everywhere, and was celestial and wonderful to see. There were trees with flower and fruit, covered everywhere with divine gems. There were extremely beautiful celestial birds. It was filled everywhere with asuras who were always happy, armed with weapons like spears, swords, clubs, bows, and maces in their hands. O king, on seeing this extraordinary city of the Daityas, I asked Matali, what is this that I see here? Matali replied, there was once a Daitya lady named Puloma, and another great Asura lady named Kalaka. They observed supreme austerities for 1,000 celestial years. When they had completed the austerities, the one who created himself granted them a boon. O Indra among men, they chose the boon that their sons should not suffer much and should be incapable of being killed by the gods, the Rakshasas, and the serpents. This beautiful city that roams in the sky is the result of those good deeds. It is full of jewels everywhere and is incapable of being conquered even by the gods, the yakshas, the masses of Gandharvas, the serpents, the asuras, and the rakshasas. It contains all the objects of desire and qualities and is devoid of sorrow and disease. O best of the Bharata lineage, this was created for the Kalakeyas by Brahma. This is the divine city that is roaming around in the sky, avoided by the immortals. O brave one, it is inhabited by the Polima and the Kalakeya Danavs. This great city is known by the name of Hiranyapura. It is protected by the great Kalakeya and Polima Asuras. They are always happy there and cannot be killed by all gods. O Indra among kings, they always live here happily, devoid of anxiety, and with nothing left to ask for. It was earlier destined by Brahma that they would die at the hands of a human. Arjuna said, O Lord, having learned that they could not be slain by the gods and the asuras, I happily told Matali, go swiftly to that city. I will use my weapons to destroy those who hate the 30 gods. There are no evil haters of the gods who do not deserve to be slain by me. In that divine chariot, yoked to tawny horses, Matali swiftly conveyed me to the city of Hiranyapur. On seeing me, Diti's sons, adorned in colorful garments and ornaments, mounted their chariots and hastened at great speed. The chiefs of the Danavas, terrible in valor, angrily attacked me with darts, iron arrows, missiles, spears, cudgels, and clubs. I warded off this great shower of weapons. O king, resorting to the strength of my knowledge, I unleashed a great shower of arrows. In that battle, I confounded all of them through the course of my chariot. Completely confounded, the Danavas fell down on one another. They were so confounded that they rushed at each other. I sliced off their heads with hundreds of blazing arrows. Thus, slaughtered by me, the Daityas resorted to their city again. Using the power of Maya the Danavas possess, they rose up into the sky with their city. I restrained them with a great shower of arrows. I blocked the path of the Daityas and restrained their movement. But the Daityas were supported by their boon. With ease, that celestial city, divine in radiance and capable of going anywhere at will, remained suspended in the sky. It would suddenly plunge into the ground, then be established up in the sky again. It would swiftly adopt a diagonal movement and immerse itself in the waters. O Lord of men, that giant city, capable of going anywhere at will, was like Amravati. I attacked it with many types of weapons. O bull among the Bharata lineage! Then I subdued the Daityas, together with the city, with a net of arrows invoked with divine weapons. O king, it was wounded through the strait and iron arrows shot by me. The city of the Asuras was destroyed and fell down on the ground. O king, pierced by my iron arrows, as swift as the Vajra, and driven by destiny, the Asuras roamed around. Matali swiftly descended on the ground in that chariot, as radiant as the sun, as if taking a forward leap. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, wishing to fight with me, those indomitable ones surrendered me with 60,000 chariots, surrounded me with 60,000 chariots. But I destroyed them with sharp arrows that had feathers of vultures as plumes. Thus, vanquished in battle, they retreated like the waves of the ocean. Thinking that no man was capable of defeating them in battle, I discharged all other weapons one after the other. But slowly my divine weapons and the thousands of chariots of those skilled warriors neutralized each other. The Maharathas roamed around in different maneuvers of their chariots. They could be seen in hundreds and thousands. They were adorned in colorful crowns and garlands for the head and dazzling armor and flags. With many beautiful ornaments, they delighted my mind. In that battle, with all my showers of arrows, I was not able to oppress them, but they oppressed me. Thus, hard pressed by many who were accomplished in weapons and were skilled warriors, I felt pain in that great battle. A great fear took hold of me. In the battle, I bowed down to Rudra, god of the gods, saying, "May there be welfare to all beings." I used the great weapon famous by the name of Rudra, capable of destroying all enemies. I then saw a man with 3 heads, 9 eyes, 3 faces, and 6 arms, with hair blazing like the sun and the fire. O scorcher of enemies! There were giant serpents with flaming tongues on his head. O bull among the Bharata lineage! On beholding that terrible and eternal Rudra weapon, I lost my fear and attached it to Gandiva. I bowed in obeisance to the 3-eyed and infinitely energetic Sharva. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, I discharged it to defeat the Lord of the Danavas. O Lord of the earth, as soon as I discharged it, it assumed thousands of different forms everywhere. Deer, lions, tigers, bears, buffaloes, serpents, cattle, elephants, marsh deer, sharbas, bulls, boars, cats, hyenas, ghosts, purundas, vultures, garudas, sharks, pishachas, yakshas, haters of gods, guhyakas, nairityas, large fish with mouths like elephants, owls and masses of fish and tortoises, all brandishing many kinds of weapons and swords. There were Yatudhanas. Yatudhanas are evil spirits, kind of demon, wielding clubs and maces. There were many other beings in different forms. They filled up the universe when that weapon was discharged. Those many different forms, with 3 heads, 4 tusks, 4 faces, and 4 arms, devoured the flesh, fat, and marrow of the Danavas. They continuously killed the ones who had gathered there. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, in that instant I also killed the Danavas with arrows that were destructive of enemies, as hard as the Vajra and as radiant as lightning, blazing like the sun and the fire. On seeing them destroyed through weapons shot from Gandiva, deprived of life and hurled down from the sky, I once again bowed to the god who destroyed Tripura. Tripura was a city of the demons and was destroyed by Shiva. On seeing that they had been destroyed with all their celestial ornaments, shattered by the Rodra weapon, the charioteer of the gods was extremely delighted. On seeing that I had performed a task that was impossible even for the gods, Matali, Shakra's charioteer, worshipped me. He joined his hands in salutation and said in a happy voice, "The task that you have accomplished was impossible for the gods and the asuras. Even the lords of the gods could not have achieved this in battle. This great city that roamed around in the sky could not have been destroyed by the gods and the asuras. O brave one, you have vanquished it through the strength of your own valor, weapons, and austerities." When the city had been destroyed and the Danavas killed, all the lamenting women emerged from the city. They were smitten by grief. Their hair was dishevelled, and they were miserable like ospreys. They threw themselves down on the ground, sorrowing over their sons, fathers, and husbands. In miserable tones, they loudly grieved over their dead lords. They beat their breasts with their hands, and the garlands and ornaments were thrown away. The city of the Danavas was overcome with sorrow, misery, and distress. It had lost all its splendor, and all its lords had been slain. It was no longer radiant. like a city of the Gandharvas, like a pond deserted by elephants, and like a forest that is full of dry trees. That city disappeared. With a happy mind, Matali quickly took me from the field of the battle to the abode of the kings of the gods. I had accomplished my task. I had destroyed Hiranyapur and killed the great Asuras and the Nivatakavachas. I returned to Shakra. O immensely radiant one, Matali recounted my deeds in detail to the Indra of the gods, completely and exactly as it had happened. The destruction of Hiranyapur, the use of Maya, the way it was repulsed, and the slaying of the immensely powerful Nivatakavachas in battle. On hearing this, the illustrious Purandara, the one with the 1,000 eyes, was delighted. In the midst of the Maruts, he spoke words like wonderful and well done. Together with the other gods, the king of the gods repeatedly congratulated me and spoke these gentle words. In battle, you have accomplished a great deed that was impossible for the gods and the Asuras. O Partha, by slaying my enemies, you have paid a great preceptor's fee. O Dhananjaya, you will always remain as steady in battle. You will know what has to be done and will not be confounded in using these weapons. The gods and the Danavas, the Rakshasas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the Gandharvas, together with the masses of birds and serpents, will not be able to withstand you in battle. O Kanteya, through the strength of your arms, Kunti's son, Yudhishthir, with Dharma in his soul, will conquer the earth and protect it. Should I stop?
Yeah, that's very good.
So we're stopping here. It's past 9.
That was absolutely beautiful. That was fantastic. Can you hear me? What was that lovely to read? Were you? Are you? I mean, you were totally immersed, like all of us in that. It's
Yes, it was. It was very, very descriptive. I loved it. Yeah.
Stop
it's
recording.
Yes, you need to stop recording.
yes. Okay, stop recording.
Yeah.